Hello everybody. June 17th, 2023. Just going to give you a little tour around the house here. Here's my Akuba Gold Dust, and it's doing really good. You can see it's probably 4.5 feet tall. I covered this very lightly. I have a canvas tarp that I have, and I covered it with that in the vortex. You can see it's doing really good. It got a little bit of damage, but hardly any. And I only had a string of lights on this, maybe a string of 50. It was very, very minimal coverage going through the winter. I'm surprised how well it did, being we had about 40 mile an hour, 40 below wind chill, excuse me. So it's doing really good. And see Rufus here. I got a couple knockout roses here, you can see. I picked these Japanese holly ferns up in the Outer Banks. They're doing good underneath this hydrangea tree I got. Probably a few more weeks and it'll start getting its flowers. And then over here we got this oak leaf hydrangea. It's just starting to get its flowers. It's got quite a few this year. And then the sago palm in a pot. And some ears. And then my Edith Bogue magnolia. It gets no protection, and it came through winter with hardly any damage at all. I haven't seen any flower buds on it though, but they may come later here. But normally there's some on it, but I don't see any on it yet. It's getting its new leaves. These are kind of messy. You sure drop a lot of leaves, but I don't see no flower buds on it yet. And then here's another hydrangea. This is a Nico Blue hydrangea. It's getting its flowers. Sometimes these die back and you don't get many flowers, but this year I'm getting quite a few. Here's a little rose bush my mother-in-law gave us. It's doing really good here. I have no idea what it's called, but it looks nice. Crepe myrtle. It took a little damage. I'm gonna have to cut some of this back. And got a couple gardenias here. These are supposed to be zone 6 rated. I do put a box over them, so these smell really good. I don't know if anybody ever smells any, but they smell really good. And the other ones over here, it did get a little damage, but you can see in there all the little leaves coming back clear up at the top, so they're growing good. This yucca, it's supposedly gloriosa, but you can see the skunks got into the mulch and the fabric. I'm gonna have to clean that up. It started getting soft at the top, and looks like I'm gonna have to cut. Well, no, look at this. I didn't see this. There's a new little sprout coming out right there. So that's cool. Anyways, it started getting soft this spring. I figured it got damaged. You can see up here, this one's a little damaged too, but we'll see. Look at all the sprouts coming off this thing. They're growing everywhere. But I thought maybe you'd get a flower. I've had this thing for probably 4 or 5 years. It's probably darn near 4 feet tall, but this is the worst it's looked since I've gotten it. And then there's the Tonto crepe myrtle. It's huge. You can see it compared to the other one. The other one's a Sue, and this one's doing really good. Here's my sable miner that I got down in North Carolina. They just said it was a native. They didn't say what it was. But very little protection on that at all. It does good. My Mahonia, it took a little damage, so I had to trim it back. But it's coming back. Coming back good. My windmill palm. This is the new one that I planted this year. I got this last year down in Charleston, South Carolina. It's doing good. All my volunteer pansies coming up from last year, they all reseeded themselves. They're doing really good. Got some more hydrangeas here. They're getting flowers down inside there. Couple crepe myrtles. Here's a fig. 2 figs actually. There's 2 here planted side by side. This one is, I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name. White. I'm not gonna butcher it. And then this is the Chicago. No, this is the brown turkey foot. It's the taller one, and then the smaller one is beside it. And they're doing good. They're probably already 4 feet tall. Here's Cape Hatteras sable miner. I call this a shovel palm because I dug it out, but brought it home from the Outer Banks. It's doing good there. I just planted this spring. Here's a small crepe myrtle. It does really good. It gets a nice pink flower. Here's my Butea. Just planted it this spring. It's slowly coming. Not very big. It's only about 2 feet tall. We'll see how that grows. It's not growing real fast. Oleander, it's flowering now. I keep it in a pot. I did have this thing over winter one time, but it died clear back to the ground, so I dug it out and put it in a pot. Then there's the windmill palm. This thing I planted back in 2018, and it was about the height of the deck, maybe just a hair taller, and it's grown that much. You can see it's just up past the spouting of the house now. This thing's starting to get mammoth. I just recently cut the flowers off because I don't have a pollinator, but it had like 7 or 8 flower pods. And underneath that's a needle palm. Oh, I see it's getting flowers too. Right down in here. See it down in there? Yep, they're just starting to come out. That's cool. Got a japonica back there. I do protect that. I got that for $12 just as an experiment, and it's still kicking. My bananas. Now, for some reason, they died back. But you can see all these smaller ones. That's all this year's growth. But then there's this tall one, and then there's this one. So it's kind of odd looking this year, but it's doing good. And then all my desert plants, all kinds. Rostrata, it's doing good. These agave, they come in the winter time. I just pull them out. Red hot pokers. This yucca, got this from a friend in Tennessee. This is the first year it's bloomed. I was messing around looking at this other flower, and I broke it off. So I was not real happy about that. But you can see this thing is deadly. You didn't want to get near it. It's got needles for arms. And then it's probably got, you can see the trunk in there. 2 trunks. I may trim this up sometime, but it's doing really good. May try to get some seeds off of that. We'll see. And another cactus that's blooming. It's doing good. And over here you can see I got another Edith Bogue Magnolia out there. This thing gets full blast wind. You can see it way out there. And you can see it gets straight west wind. It has no protection at all. And here, my Coreopsis, it's starting to get ready to bloom. This is a yellow. Here's a Chicago Hardy fig. It's actually starting to get little figs on it. Right down here. Right there. That's cool. A red yucca. Just planted that this spring. I got two over there by the desert mound. One's a yellow one and one's a red one. And here's my sable minors that I have planted here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And I did lose one, but you can see they're growing pretty good. They're slow, but they're up against the wall here, facing the south. So they're right there. And then I got these Bengal cannas. They're doing good. I think this one's getting ready to get a flower right in there. So they're doing good. Pinky ears, they're growing good. Hardly any protection here. I just threw mulch over them. Got another yucca. Get a trunk. It has a trunk. My friend in Tennessee sent me these. You can see it's getting a sprout there. These are the same ones that are flowering. Right there. These grow pretty fast. No protection on these at all. And I got two of them. And then I plant some of those. I can't remember the name of them. I dig them out. Some more ears. They're the ones that have like the purple burgundy leaf. They're coming up. If anybody needs an Adam's needle yucca start, we've got plenty of them. Matter of fact, I think there's more coming up over in the mulch. They're like a weed here. They just grow everywhere. Azaleas. These are the deciduous azaleas. They get an orange flower. Planted this blue-beaked yucca here. This corner of the house stays. You can see it's a little corner in the house, and it stays nice and dry back here. I planted it this spring, so we're gonna see how this does here. And let's see more. This yucca, it's in a pot. Let's see. Got a sago palm back here. Right there. Last year these didn't do real well. We'll see how they do this year. Knockout roses. And then I discovered this was an experiment with those pink ears. First me and my son planted this castor bean here. Well then, a few weeks later, the pink ears started popping up from last year. So those things are pretty hardy. They got no protection here at all, and they're like that Edith Bogue. They got full blast winter wind coming from the west. Daylilies are coming out. Deer, they're enjoying a salad bar on my hostas. Rufus. Let's see, another castor bean planted there. You can see this banana out front. It's doing really good. Agave Americana. I keep that in the pot. It's doing good. Hardy hibiscus. These things are really growing. And then here's my windmill palm that I had to cut this spring. Actually, I cut it in January. You can see it. It's growing really good. There's where I cut it. I only cut it just a little bit, maybe 2 inches max. But this is how much it's grown since it started growing in February in its enclosure. So it slowly started pushing up in February, and here it is the middle of June, and it's grown this much. So it's doing good. You can see where it was cut. It's getting new fronds down in there. So I thought I lost it. This thing's been planted 3 years. It's getting a good trunk on it. I mean, that trunk's probably 6 inches. The one out back, the bigger one, it's got a trunk on it. It's about the size of a 2-gallon pot. Okay, that's that. You can see my forest pansy red buds down at the end of the driveway. 2 of those. Over here, this is a yellow magnolia Elizabeth. It's doing good. It got flowers this year. And then over to the shed. These are my 7 Suns trees that I love. They're like a cold hardy crepe myrtle, but I really like them. I noticed last night they're just starting to get their flower buds right there. And these will be white for a few weeks, and then probably around September they'll turn a red color. And you can see how the bark is. Bark's really cool. See how the bark is? See, it looks like a crepe myrtle, and it flakes off just like a crepe myrtle. Pretty cool. Sometimes it gets a different color to it, but I think they're cool looking. Can't wait to see these. Deer love them. But so far I've kept them away from them. I got 2 of them. One there, and one over there. And I do have one in the backyard. Coral bark maple. It's looking a little rough. It did take a hit this winter. I had to trim probably 2 feet of that down. Holly tree I got last fall. Let's see. Variegated Americana. Another 7 Suns tree. And then this is a new flower bed I did. These are some Coreopsis I got. They're really nice. This one is Broad Street. And then I got another one over here. It's called Main Street. And there's a lady north of me by about an hour who discovered these, and this is her series, this cruising series, and she has them all named after roads. So Main Street, Broad Street, there's a Route 66, and it's all ones that she discovered growing in her garden. And I actually work with her son, so that's kind of cool. So I had to get some of these. There's 4 or 5 different ones. Broad Street, Main Street, Route 66. There's a yellow one too. I can't remember what it's called, but they're really cool. Got some sea oats grass growing here. Picked up this coral. It's called coral just coral honeysuckle. Picked that up at the Outer Banks. Thought it was cool. Planted this K. Paris magnolia. We'll see how it does. I don't know if it's gonna be hardy here or not. We'll see. And peach tree. Anybody can grow peach trees. Here's a peach tree. See the little peaches on it. Actually doing pretty good. They're about that big. They're really good. This one's actually, I think it's a zone 4. If anybody can grow them in zone 4. Yep, zone 4. So those are nice. Greenhouse, garden, property. You can see the red hot pokers over here. I'll take you over there. This is going to be a long video, but you can see the backyard. And he's going good. All I need is a pole right there. Maybe someday. This is what's it called? Blue. Can't remember the name now. I'll think of it. Red hot pokers. They're doing good. The deer love these. You can see they've picked some of the flowers off and eat them. Blue dune grass. That's what it's called. Right there. This stuff, it's nice, but boy does it spread. I see why it's called dune grass. It goes everywhere. All over the place. Even out into the yard. Another Seven Suns tree. Collar guard yucca. Another hibiscus. This thing gets big. It gets 4 or 5 feet tall. Another one of those yuccas from a friend in Tennessee. And then last but not least, some of my new stuff is I got these Japanese black pines to try. I hope they do good. I like the looks of them. I gotta put a cage around them for the deer, but I think they're cool. And there's another one over there planted. So we'll see. I gotta keep everything locked up from the deer. It's doing good too. There's that one. And then here's the big view back here. And then I'll take you across the road. I want to show you one more thing. Okay, over here at the rock wall, this is another Edith Bogue magnolia. And I started this off the big one behind the house, and I did the air layering method. So this is an identical, genetically identical plant to the one behind the house. And I decided to plant it out here. And you can see this one, it has a bud there and a bud right there. So I'm excited. This is the first it's ever flowered. Again, cage for the deer. But these do really good for me. No protection really at all. Maybe when they're young, but that's it. So that's pretty much it here. Some more ears the boys planted. And there's the homestead. This is our property from here, from there, clear around, clear over. See that hillside way out there? Down the road. The parents. We go clear to right down there, which is about a mile from where I'm standing. So that's it. Okay. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. I know it's a long video, but I wanted to show everybody how everything was growing. We finally got some rain here. Grass is greening up again. It was starting to turn brown. So that's it from Western PA, Zone 6. Happy planting.